Arsenal draw with Man City. And I'm telling you, this is a very different conversation now to what it would have been 20 minutes ago. The game has literally just finished. It went from frustration to elation to a feeling of a missed opportunity for me. There were some decisions that Arteta made in this game that 20 minutes ago I was thinking, why have we done this? Now, you always have to be careful when you question Mikel Arteta because it's like, who am I to question Mikel Arteta? But as fans, we're all allowed our own opinion. And I'm not going to slate Mikel Arteta in this video, but I'm definitely going to ask you guys what you thought of some of the decisions that Mikel Arteta made, because if I'm being honest, I couldn't really understand them. Let's get straight into the starting lineup. When the game started, we saw Trossard. To me, that was a bit like, look, and Trossard is a good player, but it was like, what's he done this season to warrant that spot? Martinelli's come on a couple of times recently, changed the game. We've literally just bought a £65 million player in Eza. Why is he not starting? You've gone with Trossard, like I said, who hasn't really done anything. Again, a good player, a good price we bought him for. But this season, in terms of starting this game, I don't think he's warranted that. Now, he did score, I know that. But I just don't think he's been the best performer out on the left. I think Eze and Martinelli, in my book, are both ahead of him. So that was the first confusing one. Madueke coming off at half-time. Look, if you're going to make that swap, fine. But we definitely lost something when Madueke came off. He was the only guy that was really penetrating. When Saka, Trossard come on, it kind of like, look, and I love Saka, of course. He's just come back from injury. It was kind of like a bit of last season, you know, where they keep recycling the ball so much. There was a few times where Saka went past his man more than Trossard did. It was like every time Trossard recycled the ball. Now, there was one moment when he beat his guy that was late on in the game. But apart from that, he kept going backwards with his passes. And I'm like, could we not have switched Madueke out to that left-hand side and have those penetrating runs? Because Madueke in this game, even though he come off at half-time, was still our most penetrating player. He had that one action where he moved into the box, forced a save from Donnarumma. And if he could have continued that in the second half, I think we would have been a lot more dangerous. A better outlet. We saw Gabriel Martinelli come on. That goal was exceptional. The touch was nice, but I thought, he's not now in a position to shoot. And he just uses the outside of his right boot to dink it over Donnarumma, who's about 7'8". Unbelievable goal. I was literally jumping around the house like I nearly lost my voice. That was such a big goal because I thought that would be the one where it's like, right, now we can kick on and win this game. Man City have got 17 defenders on the pitch. Pep Guardiola has morphed into Jose Mourinho, and I thought this was the moment where we could have taken it. It didn't really pan out. So many silly fouls. Like I said, let me know your thoughts on the game, but to me it's like, why are we giving away so many fouls in, like, we're killing our own momentum. Like, there's moments where we could have just, right, they've got the ball, just let them have it. But no, you kill the momentum, you get a yellow card, you stop the game, you waste another 2 minutes, and to me it's like, it's not worth it. Just let them play. They didn't look dangerous at all. That one moment where they carved our defence open with the William Saliba, who's just come back from injury, and Haaland's faster than both of them. That's just the reality. We had a high line. You play a high line, you take your risks, and we got punished. Okay, fine. Haaland was out of the game apart from that. He had one moment, and that's all you need. Victor Gyökeres wasn't able to do that for us. It wasn't for lack of trying, though. That guy was trying. I'm already seeing people disrespect him on social media. I'm not going to be doing that. I don't think he was the worst performer on the pitch. Yes, he was quiet, especially in the first half. But that's what type of striker we've bought. So for me, it's kind of just like baked into my thinking. That's what you've bought. That's what you're going to get. You're going to get a guy who's not involved in every phase of play, but when he scores, it's worth it. That's what striker we wanted. That's what striker we went for. I thought everybody understood that. Clearly not. Other decisions. We've spoken about the Arteta's decisions, but just Pep Guardiola for me. Arteta made him turn into Jose Mourinho. There was one moment in particular where he took off Foden and went for Nathan Ake, and all I just thought of is, could you imagine if that was Arteta? And it is frustrating because, look, Gary Neville said it right at the end, and that was my line that I had written down for about 35 minutes. Man City have out-Arsenaled us. You know, when teams come and play us and they're like, oh, so frustrating, so boring, so many defenders, they don't want to play, they're just getting the ball in and kicking it out. Arsenal have done that at points over the season. So I'm not as frustrated as I see a lot of other Arsenal fans, because it's kind of like, guys, this is what we've been doing. This is at times what we have been over the past couple of seasons. Now we have got that quality. that we've sprinkled in there. Players like Eza. And it would be interesting to hear people's thoughts on how Eza got on. I think he done some nice bits in that game. I think people were expecting Eza to be something slightly different, something totally transformational. I don't think we've seen that yet. Now, I think this was a very good performance from him. I prefer him in the middle of the park because that's where he plays his best stuff. I think Gabriel Martinelli has to start on that left wing. And that's crazy because it's like we've tried that and it hasn't been working. But now he's got the competition of Eza. All of a sudden, he's come into form. Do you guys think Gabriel Martinelli should start in that left wing? I know what people are going to say. They're going to say we've tried it and it hasn't worked. But you can't keep out a player when he's in goal-scoring form. To me, it just doesn't make sense. I know you've paid 70, 60 million for Eza and you think that's his best position. But to me, his best position is central. A criticism you can lay is, should Eza have started the game in the middle of the park? That's something I agree with. Now, I did do a video and I said Mikel Merino will start this game. And I thought he would have played better. We've seen for Spain, he scored a hat-trick. But even in that game, if you go and watch it, he was out the game for large portions of the game. In this game, he looked a bit clumsy. Now, there was some good stuff he done. He done some good stuff defensively. But in terms of creativity, I've said on this channel before, Mikel Merino isn't the most creative player in this Arsenal team. Eza is far more creative. Even Ethan Nwaneri is far more creative. So if you wanted that creative spark, you go for one of them two. Now, I don't knock Mikel Arteta necessarily for making that decision because he wants to be resolute. He wants to be solid because you still are playing against Man City. Again, not a lot of people will like that. They would just want to go all-out attack. But in football matches, you can't do that. You do have to have a level of thinking where it's like, Mikel Merino can do stuff going forward. He can clearly score goals because we've seen it recently. And he is good when we're defending as well. The Trossard one for me was the decision I understood the least, if I'm being honest. Because it's like, I said it earlier, but I just don't understand where that start come from. Again, he scored recently, but so's Martinelli. Plus, Martinelli's got that speed. And that's something that we've always used against Man City. If we need an outlet, Gabriel Martinelli has always been our outlet. So if you're not going to use that and you're going to use Eza instead, then fine, because that's what we've bought Eza for, to be different, to give us a different look. But why have we reverted back to a Leandro Trossard who hasn't been scintillating? He hasn't scored 15, 20 goals over the past couple of seasons. He's been a decent squad player. That's exactly what Leandro Trossard is. So to be starting in one of our biggest games of the season, again, to me, I didn't fully understand it. And again, I have to say, I'm not saying I should be making the decisions or I'm more clever than Mikel Arteta, because I always say, Mikel Arteta sees these guys in training, so he sees something that we don't. He sees a lot of things that we don't. And if he's decided that Leandro Trossard is the best option for this game, then fine. He's paid to make those type of decisions. And if he gets it wrong, he will fall on his own sword. That's just the way it works. But like I said, it's always important for fans to have an opinion, and that's exactly what this platform is. Let me know your thoughts on that Man City game. Are you happy with the point? Or like me, do you feel like it's a bit of an opportunity missed? Like, of course, Man City have just come into form. It's typical. Man City do look good. They started the season strong. After that, they had a couple of games where they was a bit hit and miss, and now we can see they are on fire again. Man City are still a good side. And to be disappointed with a draw against Man City, to me, just shows how far we've come in the past season, 2 seasons. Where it's like Man City have regressed a little bit and all of a sudden we're expecting to beat them every game. We smashed them 5-1 at home last season. That's the frustration for me. You beat them at home last season and you draw to them this season, then that's a differential of 2 points. Where are you going to pick up those 2 points? You drew with Liverpool last season and then you lose to Liverpool this season. So we're dropping points in games that we didn't last season. For me, that's the main frustration above anything, because it's like, I don't care how well we play in certain games. There's some games, in games like Liverpool, Man City, where the main thing is the 3 points. You don't have to be dazzling every single week. You don't have to look like the best footballing team on the planet week in, week out. There will be games when you're not playing your best, and those are the ones where you have to get points. For me, of course, like it's obvious, a draw is better than a loss. And I was celebrating when it went 1-1 because it didn't look like at times we was going to be able to break down this team. Like I said, we took our biggest attacking threat off in Madueke. We brought on Saka, which is brilliant. We should be celebrating that Bukayo Saka is back. But unfortunately, in this game, he's just come back from injury. He wasn't as penetrating as Madueke was. Madueke was our most penetrating player. Stick him on the left or put Martinelli on the left. I don't know. I could keep waffling on for ages. Like I said, it went from frustration to elation. I was happy, but it is a bit of an opportunity missed. Let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, if you could do me a quick favour, just hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.